Good evening, everyone. My name is Anushri. I'm currently working as a chatbot developer at Chrysalis Tech Lab Private Limited, and I'm also a data science student at EduNix. And on behalf of everyone, I would like to extend a warm welcome to Mr. Gaurav Anand, sir, a seasoned professional with over 18 years of experience in driving business growth and digital transformation. With proven expertise in sales effectiveness, revenue growth management, analytics, and data science, he has successfully led several go to market strategies and competitive intelligence initiatives. We are truly honored to have him here with us today to share his valuable knowledge and insights. It's my pleasure to hand over the screen to Mr. Gaurav Anand, sir, who will be presenting on leveraging business challenges through data science. Once again, welcome, sir, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Anu, and thanks everyone for joining in. Really appreciate it. I hope you guys can see my screen.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Sorry, my bad. Okay. Yep. So, welcome everyone. Really excited to be here with this diverse group. Before we begin, quick show of hands in terms of how many of you are currently facing any business challenges that feels really impossible to solve. Anybody? I'm looking more from the professionals who are into the some work experiences. Anybody in bad background? Can you give a thumbs up or just put it on the chat? Okay. So, what if I tell you that the challenge might actually be your biggest opportunity in disguise? And that's the right lens that I think all of us must put in. To give you a very simple example, which I personally faced in my previous days before the generative AI became really, really common. If you have to analyze what your competition is doing, especially in the evolving space, you typically end up going to annual reports, right, of your closest competitors, try to analyze what they have done in the past, what are their strategies for the future, and those tasks will take anywhere between 3 to 4 days if you will go just before generative AI theme, right? So that's how it used to be. And today, just by uploading those PDF documents, giving the right prompts, I think you can cover the similar analysis and deep dives in no more than 30 minutes. So that's the impact of generative AI, which is real in life, in the corporate, in our personal spaces as well. So that's what I'll start with. In the next 45 minutes, the plan is to give you some practical frameworks, real life examples of how companies are turning biggest headaches, right, into competitive advantages using data science and generative AI. We are not just talking about AI, we are talking about AI that drives business results. So just keep that lens, because AI is something I'm sure Edunix is taking care of it in terms of the technical landscape, the entire nuances of it, the coding part, the transformer part, and all those things. But let's talk about from the business standpoint how it changes. So these are the broad four headers which I plan to cover, which is the transformation mindset, the data science as a business catalyst, generative AI revolution, and finally the real world case success stories. To begin with, again, if you can just think about it of any familiar situation that you might have faced, anybody would like to unmute and talk about it, anything that you might have seen in your previous roles or current roles, the market pressures, the operational hurdles, right, or any other challenges which were real and were comparatively very difficult to solve. Can you relate to any of these challenges which are on the screen? Somebody can share, unmute, and talk about it. That will be helpful so that's a bit engaging than just a monologue. Anybody would like to talk about it? Okay, I'll go ahead then. So, if you talk about Amazon, I'm sure everybody has heard about it. That was an organization which was not there 30 years back, but today they are redefining entire industries. And the true fact is, the pace of change is not slowing down, right? In fact, it is increasing further. If you talk of operational hurdles, I was talking to one of the senior leaders last week, who said to me that we have more data than ever, but we are making decisions the same old way that we used to do 20 years back. So what's the leverage that we are having of data that we have? And trust me, that's a story with a lot of legacy organizations who have been in existence for more than 30, 40 years. They still continue to do the data analysis and all the way it used to be earlier, which basically means still there is a gut-based decision making which happens in quite a lot of organizations, which are your legacy organizations, as we call them. The third bigger gap, apart from the market pressures and operational hurdles, which a lot of organizations face today, is about the innovation, right? So, if you want to create something new, you struggle to identify any new revenue stream. There is a difficulty when it comes to predicting the marketing trends, what would be for the future, and there is very limited ability to personalize the customer experiences, which is where the AI comes in really, really handy. Yeah. So these are just not challenges, I'll say. These are basically your symptoms of operating with an outdated playbook in a data-driven world. But if you look today, here's what's interesting. The companies thriving right now face these exact same challenges few years back, but today they are completely out of it. So the lens I am trying to put in here is, while there will be market pressures when you join a org or you're part of the organizations, you will see all these very common theories floating around. Hitting the ceiling, or your sales are plateauing down, or you're not growing at the pace that we used to grow earlier. These are very common jargons which will happen across organizations. But with the AI and all, there are a lot more chances of easing these out and creating opportunities out of these challenges. So that's something where AI really, really solves big time. So every data point tells a story, and this is about the transformation paradigm that I would like to touch upon. So if you want to compare the traditional approach to a data-driven transformation today, if you look at the react versus predict, right? So it is very different. Netflix today doesn't wait to see what shows failed for them. They start to predict what you will want to watch next, right? So that's where the entire data driven transformation comes in handy. If we talk of one size fits all solutions versus the personalized, Amazon doesn't show everyone the same homepage, right? They create millions of personalized experiences for each of us. Then moving on to gut feeling versus evidence based insights, I'm sure most of us follow Amazon, Netflix, and all. So Jeff Bezos himself said once, "We don't make decisions based on opinions. We make them based on data." And that's what, guys, we all should strive for, being a data scientist, enthusiast, and a professional. I think how you try to move folks around your leadership from gut-based to evidence-based insights, from department silos to cross-functional collaboration. Think of it like uh, any of the examples, like you have multiple functions in a legacy organizations or even the today new age organizations, like there's a marketing function, HR function, and all, and they are all trying to achieve their own goals, but there is no cross functional element which comes in handy. Even in the departments which are not talking to each other, today with the help of AI you have at least a common single source of truth which exists, which will be cross functional in nature, and you'll to drive a lot of insights and lot of innovations using similar stuff. And I think what everybody is trying to or striving for is becoming more of a revenue generators than being a cost center. So no org would like to spend money on on making analytics or data science as a cost center. We all have to be revenue generators for the organizations that we work for. Now get specific about what makes modern data science different. So earlier it was like a traditional BI, which is, I'm sure everybody has known by is aware of it by now, which is a standard reporting. What happened last month, the last quarter. It's like driving while only looking into the rear view mirror. But the modern data science, this is more like a GPS of your business. It doesn't just tell you where you have been, it predicts traffic, it finds faster routes for you and adapts in real time. I hope you all can relate to the same theory which I'm talking about, and trying to give you some relevant examples which you will relate to. So that's the idea. And some of the specific examples I can give you are, if you talk of predictive modeling, right, in this space, Walmart predicts hurricane demand so accurately that they can pre position the right amount of stuff that is needed in those outlets which are in that area, which can be Florida, Miami, and all those areas which are more prone to hurricane. You talk about real time systems. Uber adjusts pricing in real time based on supply and demand patterns. I hope everybody faces that, right? You will see the same drive, the same stride that you're going with Uber and Ola, but the pricing keeps on changing depending on the time of the day that you're taking the ride. Talking of pattern recognition, Spotify discovers our music taste much better than we all know it ourselves. If I'll ask you which song you want to hear or listen to right now, you may not be able to tell, but Spotify can, right? So based on the historical songs that you have heard or listened on that particular app, it recommends the types of podcasts you want to hear or the songs you want to listen to. And finally, I mean, if you have to look at AI as the biggest enabler, it has a multiplier effect, which basically means traditional analytics tells you what happened, but the data science of today tells you what's going to happen and what you should do about it. So the forecasting, the predictability part of it is what makes it really, really different than what it used to be in the erstwhile days. Any questions from anyone so far before I move on to the real life examples of generative AI, how different organizations are changing the game?
So,
No, sir. Good, sir.
Okay, cool.
No, sir.
So now let's move towards your generative AI, which is the talk of the world, literally. And I'm sure most of us on the call have even stopped using Google as a default search engine. Most of us now open either a Chat GPT or a Copilot or a Claude, right? On these, and they are becoming our go-to place. So that's the biggest game changer in our personal lives, first of all. Now, talking about the business impact areas, there are a lot. I'll be trying to cover a few of them. So, one is around the customer experience. Second is around your revenue generation and optimization, which is close to my heart. I've worked a lot in that space. Operational efficiency and automation. This is relevant for every organization we're part of. Every organization is hungry in terms of how they can bring efficiency in their day-to-day operations. And then we have innovation, product development, so on and so forth. So if you talk about the biggest, everything that we have talked about so far just got supercharged, right? So generative AI isn't just about any other tool. It's like giving your business superpowers. And what makes it different? It is more about creating versus analyzing. So traditional AI reads the data, but the generative AI can further write it, it can create it, and it can innovate. So that's a big difference which generative brings in. Talking about the context, so it understands the context and nuance. What we mean is it doesn't just see the patterns, it understands what they mean in your business context, and that is more critical. So if you're part of a telecom, you should know what the business context is. If you are part of a CPG organization, if you're part of a pharma, the business context becomes very handy, and you'll be able to then try to comprehend the type of use cases that you want to do. The biggest thing is the scalability part of human creativity and intelligence, which is also closely related to the speed part of it. Tasks that took your teams almost weeks or months, today they are happening in minutes, right? And it's a fact. I can tell you from live examples that I am part of, wherein we are having agents working for us. We are saving time like crazy. Things are getting done in literally minutes, and which used to take days and days of time. Talking from the business impact perspective, if I talk of three broad businesses, which is customer experience, revenue generation, and operational efficiency, in the customer experience, imagine every customer interaction or engagement being perfectly personalized. When you are giving a call to any customer service agent, you don't have to press a number one, number two, number 10, right? You just have to, the agent picks up the call and tells you, okay, sir, this is what you are facing. And I'm sure these are the top three use cases or top three business problems that you have. And this is how I plan to solve. Imagine that types of experiences coming to you versus dial 1 for this, dial 9 for this. Talking of revenue generation, picture AI finding revenue opportunities you never knew existed for you, right? And that's the biggest problem which a lot of organizations face today. And finally, on the operational efficiency, think about processes that optimize themselves. So you don't even have to look at it. It's on an autopilot mode that things are working upon. Now let's move into the real life examples. I have taken a couple of pictures from social media and all. I'll start from the left, which is Airtel versus scam. So if you see the numbers, right, and this has been picked up from the social media, so 68.7% is a drop in your financial fraud by Airtel itself, right? And this is all done by your generative AI. You look at the cybercrime drop, it is around 14.3%, and they are literally bringing it out. And if you see on the top, on the left side of it, the number of transactions and all 48.3 billion, and so on and so forth. So this is where the impacts are coming. So even the fraudulent transactions and all can be very well taken care by the generator. These two in the middle, I think pretty easy. Everybody will relate to it. So today we are moving away from a chatbot, which is as a contextualized and pre-fetched in terms of you ask a question and there's a specific answer. We are today talking about intelligent chatbots, which operate 24 by 7, personalized support with a human-like understanding. Right? This is what the intelligent bot is today. It is not your olden days chatbot, which will just have your only predefined answers. It is a lot more engaging today. It talks like a human. Talking about the content, today we talk about dynamic content creation. So you have personalized emails, you have product descriptions, you have product recommendations, and there are examples live in front of you, right, which happens today. There's also a couple of examples like sentiment analysis and all. So going forward, you will see during your customer interactions when you're talking to a bot, it can judge your sentiment in real time and will start talking and empathizing with you when he's talking with you. And you will see those empathizing words and vocabularies being used by chatbot live. And finally, one of the interesting use case which today I'm working in the similar space with ANSR. So this is by Naukri.com. They have created and they are putting it across, and you can just search it out on the social media as well. So they're coming up with this AI feature wherein if you're applying for a job, the AI will do the entire screening, which is from screening, assessing, interviewing, and everything. AI will do it for them, right? An end-to-end process. So you can literally outsource your entire hiring funnel to a bot, right? This is what is happening today, and it's live, guys. It's not that we're talking about it is going to happen. It is right now happening as we speak. And the organization I represent, so we do have all these agents which do your end-to-end funnel analysis, right? And do this sort of whenever you submit a profile based on the JD, based on the requirement of the client, it just clears out this is the relevant pool of candidates that we should review, and rest of it just gets discarded. That's how it works. Any questions from anyone?
Yeah. So we're talking about chatbots or bots which are actually working on these cases. So I just wanted to understand as to where do we fit in? Exactly what are we targeting or what are we looking at when we try to solve this? Because I mean,
Mhm.
there's a lot of information that is there,
Yep,
and we cannot definitely rely on a third party a
absolutely.
chatbot. We'll have to definitely there has to be a a built-in bot that is being used by that particular whichever like for example, we were talking about Naukri or Airtel, so they have
Yep.
to develop it from the beginning, from the scratch, and try and understand and get to a point where all these things are happening live.
Yep.
So where do we get in as in humans? Like they are thinking of it. So we create a chatbot and then it is doing
Mhm.
its work. What are we doing there?
Yep. See, the biggest thing is today, and it's a brilliant question. Yeah. So, what are we doing? So, first of all, the biggest, I'll say, the drive which is happening, or people are correlating this to that the jobs are going away, right? So, one is that correlation which people do most often. But
Mhm.
the thing is, you get liberated and you should do what you're supposed to do. So, how you can get insights out of these conversations, that's on top of the chatbot. So, whatever conversations happen today, right? What is the final intent? Think from an organization perspective. What are we trying to achieve? We are trying to achieve with a bot that there's something wherein my customer is engaged at any point in time, right? 24 by 7. So there is a convenience which is coming in for my customer. That is first intent of the organization. The second intent of the organization is the consistency part, right? If I have my 500 agents working for me, it's very difficult to have them trained on the similar narrative and to give the similar answer what they're supposed to do while we do it. But still, you will also agree with me that the bots will be a lot more consistent the way they will operate, right? Second is the consistency part of it. And on the third part is what's in it for the organization from the either a top line perspective or a bottom line perspective. And that's where it depends from org to org. It depends on the industry to industry. If I want to understand what are the types of questions my customers are they asking about a new product? Are they asking about the features? Are they asking about the problems they are facing? Right. So you will start developing certain themes around it, around based on the conversations that are happening. You can start looking at more of the sentiments with which people are talking to. And if you're really serious about your business, there are a lot of actions then what you should drive. You should proactively then reach out to the customer and try to do a deep dive or a drill down in terms of what you can do better off. Or maybe you go back if there is a consumer complaint that our product failed into this particular scenario or something like this, there was a faulty product received or something like that. If you're really interested in solving, you will just go ahead and talk to them in person and then try to solve for it. So there is a wow getting created for you, right? There's a because see in today's generation, right, it is all digital. Couple of negative feedbacks can really put an organization on a back foot, right? And then it is really snowballing which happens. So you don't want to get into that trap. So that's where I think the repurposing of the jobs will start to happen now.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Good. But interesting question, yeah? And these are really pain points which are happening today. Let's yeah, let's move on. And but on the dynamic content and all, I can give you a couple of examples if you want to try. So you can have your every email, every product page, every recommendation that we are creating for a customer, do it yourself. Even for your own personal space, you can create an agent today, right? Using a co-pilot and all. It's very simple. You all can do it, which can work on a very simple thing. Some of the agents which I created for myself include I want to get a summary of my entire inbox every morning at 9 a.m. So, are there certain actions that I'm supposed to take? Are there certain actions or the emails which I should not be bothered about? Right. So, I can do those bucketizations. I do that. And based on that, the day starts. Right. So, these are very small, small agents I can tell you, which are very simple. Even a non technical person can create in no time today. Yeah. So, these are the type of things that you can look at. And I can tell you based on the industry numbers, if you are deploying these agents which are your more of chatbots and all in the customer space customer experience perspective, there is almost 40% reduction in the response time, which means customers get help much faster. You will see more than 65% satisfaction improvement, right? Which is again a big KPI for any organization, that your customers are now much happy. And finally, 25% of times more, you're getting the first call resolution, which is the biggest pain for any organization. The customer keeps on calling again and again, or the call gets dropped in between, the track is lost, right? All these things keep on happening. So this is where your intelligent chatbots really come in handy. Moving on, I'll give you specific examples when we come to the revenue optimization space. As I said, my personal favorite. So, talking about, so if you look at from the challenge perspective, the challenge is my sales are plateauing. I have missed opportunities. What shall I do? And where is Gen AI? What can Gen AI help me to do? So every business will hit a revenue plateau, or I'll not say a plateau per se, because India is a developing economy in that sense, but you will see a stagnancy in terms of the growth rates. So you are continuing to grow maybe at a 5% or 7% now year on year, but you want to grow at a 15% or 20%, right? So how do I go about that? So GenAI can help you find revenue hidden in the plain sight, which we typically lose out. To give an example, dynamic pricing, most of us, if have heard for airlines, right? So airlines used to have this from years, but now AI is making it possible for every business that exists, right? So if you look at the prices now today, adjust based on the demand, based on the inventory, and even weather patterns which are happening across. So this is a big shift which is happening. And what happens is with the dynamic pricing, I hope you all relate, the higher you charge, the better are your margins and better are your bottom lines. So that's how you keep on tweaking it based on the scenarios that you are into. From the recommendation engines perspective, again, relatable examples. If you look at Amazon today, so Amazon openly says that we are making more than 35% of our revenue from recommendation engines itself, which is nothing but AI, right? So AI doesn't just suggest products, it starts creating desire for those products, right? Customers didn't even knew they wanted. I'm not sure how many of you are seeing today. So while you're watching either a Insta or on Amazon and all, you will see a lot of the products which you are not even thinking about. But it will say, okay, this can help you save some time in your kitchen or in your some other space, something relevant that you might have bought. Either you have bought a laptop, it will recommend, okay, you may want to buy a mouse or a mouse pad or a something completely irrelatable also, that there is a wire organizer, right? So all those things are something which is your recommendation engine, and try to induce that demand which you might not even be thinking about, right? So this is something which GenAI does fabulously, and a lot of organizations are implementing it today. Talking about the market trend analysis, AI can today read thousands of signals which are on social media. And I'm sure everybody will agree with me that today social media is the biggest trending stuff. The search patterns which are happening across social media, the economic indicators that we have, and you marry all of them to spot the opportunities months before your competition can do. And that's where the biggest first mover advantage will come in. And that's where you'll start making an impact as an organization. Now, if I have to give you some numbers again on this one, so 20 to 30% increase in average order value means if you are doing a 100 crore business, right, 20% of that is like almost 20 CR, which you will save for the organization, right? So, or you create more revenue for yourself. So, these are some of the examples which I can think of. Moving on, this is around the operational excellence. So on the operational excellence, as I said earlier, right? So I mean, everybody wants to do it. Every organization is hungry for this. But let us do four buckets sort of a exercise in this. So the hidden cost part of it. So most businesses lose 20 to 30% of productivity today to the manual and repetitive tasks. Your best people spend time on working that doesn't need human creativity at all, right? So the example I gave in the initial phase, if I have to analyze 3 or 4 annual reports which are PDF documents, not less than 150 page each, right, to understand what the strategy of those competitor players are, it is really humongous task, right? And honestly, I'm not using my time wisely if I'm just reading those PDFs and trying to generate something. So today AI liberates me for that, right? So AI will give me, I will just put right prompts to fetch the relevant data. And then on top of it, I can do insights part of it. I can do the business strategy part of it and the entire next steps which I should have. So AI literally will work as a liberator for all of us. It will not replace humans first of all, right? It will surely replace some of the tasks that we are doing which are manual. That's absolutely there. But the idea is it will free us all and what we do best for that particular task, which is thinking, creating, and innovating. That's the hat which we all should keep. So don't think of it as a challenge. The more closer you are with AI, data science, and all, the better it is for you, and the more closer you can think of business aspects. That's where you will be a differentiator. Otherwise, you also become a machine. If you're knowing only the AI part, you are just serving the purpose of a machine. So the more you marry your business context into it, the better it is for the entire business, right? So that's where my emphasis will be. So talking about some of the examples now, document processing, right? So today, if you want to process your legal contracts, your insurance claims, your medical records, right? So all these can be done in minutes, literally, not even in hours. And one of the simplest examples a lot of hospitals today are doing, and you can really go and see this, is the discharge summary. When you are getting discharged from hospitals, all the new age hospitals today, it gets auto generated by Gen AI, right? Most of the evolved hospitals are doing that. What a doctor will do after that generation, he will just revisit and see, is it correct or not? Are there certain tweaks he has to do? He will just do that. So that's the right use of time of a doctor, right? I hope you all will agree with that. So AI will be more of your liberator in that sense. Talking on the supply perspective, supply chain. So AI today predicts shortages much before they are going to happen in real life, which is helpful. It optimizes routes in real time, right? So I mean, you have to move your shipments from your warehousing to your end last mile, right? So all those things really help you out in optimizing and reducing the waste part of it. And the quality control, I think who better than computer vision, right? Humans will not be able to do the same task 24 by 7 again and again. Trust me, if you are sitting in front of the same Excel sheet for 3 4 hours, your brain will be frozen, right? You stop thinking, and that's where the differentiator of a AI comes in handy, that it can do it for hours and hours. And finally, I can tell you every organization believes in your ROI focus. So that's something which you should always focus upon. So try to reduce your processing time for the organization that you're working for, which will directly lead to the cost reduction for that org. And if you can bring increase the accuracy part of it using AI, nothing like it. I think that will be the marriage made in heaven in literal sense. Any questions from anyone thus far?
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna make sense, but then I'm just saying that
Mhm.
are we also thinking about, so for example, we have a customer service a department in Amazon. Amazon also has a rivalry, for example, Flipkart.
Mhm.
Now, as we are growing into generative AI, where the bot is actually taking orders and giving
Mhm.
out the service that is required for the customers, can there be, or is there anything that is being done behind where uh, a third party is probably giving out? So I am talking about it because of experience that I have.
Mhm.
So what happens is you have negative reviews as well for a product which
Yeah.
is not so, it's not working well, and somebody is actually trying to give a good review on this, and it is all chatbot, and there is another chatbot. So
Mhm.
on the whole, the human is actually getting bluffed because of it. So are we looking into or doing anything about all those things? I mean, just came into my mind, and I thought I'll
Yeah, yeah.
just ask.
Well, I'll not be able to give you the exact example, I mean, in terms of whether we are doing it or not. But if you talk about from the capability standpoint, absolutely you can do that. So, and there have been a lot of conversations around if you have to catch hold of generative, right? The answer is generative again. You have to go to AI only, who will be able to tell you today whether this particular content was created by AI or not, if you want to catch hold of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the best way. And some of the examples which comes to my mind are the plagiarism part, right? If you are aware of, when you do
Mhm.
your thesis and all those things, a lot of people end up getting into copy pasting from either a Claude or a Chat GPT and all,
True.
and they even try to do humanization part of it, right? That's also,
Yeah.
yeah, they will do that as well. But even after that, there are tools today which are again generative AI based, that will tell you clearly. If you talk about the plagiarism, it is zero. If you talk about the AI part of it, even after post humanization part, it is still 100%. So there are ways to capture that, right? So the answer is yes, because I am not belonging to that industry right now. I'll not be able to answer whether they're using it or not. But the answer is yes, it is doable, very much doable. Yeah. Any other questions from anyone? Okay.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
So regarding the resource allocation you have written, can you elaborate it again? Like AI
Yeah, yeah.
driven scheduling and yeah.
Sure, sure. So resource allocation. So if you look at the project management part of it, right? So you want to allocate your workforce. Suppose you have a 10-member team and you have certain tasks being given, you can literally have Copilot sitting on top of your project plans, and it can tell you these are the milestones or these are critical parts where you are in, and this is the amount of work which has happened so far. If there is a delay which has been induced, how you can take care of it, how you can fast track some of the things, where is the bandwidth available in your team. Suppose there are 10 people, two people have maybe 4 hours, 5 hours, how you can fast track. So you can ask those particular probes, right, to that particular whatever Gen AI you're using, and it will be able to throw you out in terms of the opportunities to fast track the stuff. It can give you opportunities in terms of how you are performing against the critical paths, because when it is a client facing stuff, you will want to optimize the stuff so that you don't, I'll say, deviate from the critical paths, right? So that's really getting penalized, because at times there are commercial repercussions of that. So you don't want to get into those. So that's where also a lot of use cases are coming in from the generative perspective. This is what I mean from this one, resource allocation.
And regarding the quality control, like automated defect detection and the
Yeah.
process improvement.
Yeah.
So this is for this the L1, L2, those kind of activity.
Exactly, those are the ones. There are a lot more. I can give you examples, real life examples from your CPG industry. So if you talk about the colas, if you talk about alcohol, right, all these bottling units and all of that, today you have certain IoT sensors, you have your CCTV cameras enabled with a similar vision stuff and all, wherein if the level of a liquid is below certain threshold, it will say it should be rejected. If the labels are in not alignment, it will say it should be rejected. So all those things are really happening live today as we speak. Those are also quality control KPIs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. How can we relate it to the software side?
So on the, it's a vision problem basically. So I mean, if you can create a mechanism wherein you have certain thresholds defined, that this is the size of the bottle, the length and everything is defined, and then you know the optimal mark or a threshold that the liquid should be above this and less than this. That's it. It's a simple vision problem, and you'll be able to solve with that.
Mm. Thank you.
Cool. So now let's get practical in terms of how we actually implement all of this, and that's where I thought not many people might be aware, or if you have been taught about. So there are two sorts of frameworks which most of us use. One is called a transform, and the transform verse is literally created so that people remember that that's the idea. But if you just go through it, it's very very logical, and you all will relate to it by default. So it's a target first, right? So it's very simple. Don't start with we need AI first of all, right? Start with we need to solve a particular problem, and what is that business problem? Be very clear on that.
It's got a minute.
If you can unmute, please. On the research side, bad data in means bad decisions out. Always remember that. It's a gigo, which is garbage in is garbage out. So please do your research in terms of the data sources, the quality of the data that you are going to use, because that will come entire modeling, entire whatever you're creating, right, will go for a toss if you have garbage as your input. So please ensure that the data is perfect. And I will tell you, I'm sure whoever has worked in this space earlier will relate to this. Majority of your time goes into the data cleansing part. That's a hard fact, because data doesn't come in clean in a lot of organizations because of the legacy issues, or because of the ways of the or the different types of softwares, different ecosystems that exist. So multiple reasons will be there, but they will not marry to each other. And how you bring it together, it's big task. So do invest good amount of time in that stage. Talking about the analyze phase, this is where the patterns emerge that humans would never spot. So this is a good space wherein you should try to invest a bit of time. Navigate is all about not every problem needs AI. So some need simple process changes also, right? It can be a simple regression problem, it can be a correlation problem, it's just a simple forecasting. So don't try to put GenAI on everything, right? Just try to figure out what type of problem it should be. And then you move towards strategizing, which is implementing the planning, the preventing a pilot trajectory and all those things is when you should focus upon the strategized part of it. Then you start focusing on quick wins and scalable solutions. I personally focus a lot on the quick wins because most of your stakeholders will not have an appetite to wait for really long. So it's always advisable to keep on showing some progress over a week or two or a month at max. Don't try to create a black box that I'm working, and something will come magical someday. Please don't believe in that. People lose patience very quickly. So try to give some quick wins immediately so that there's a confidence building which is happening with your stakeholder, and then you keep on building onto it. So always take a step by step approach on these particular things whenever you're building a slightly longish or a scalable solution. Then comes your later part, which is on once you have done that, optimize. So AI systems get better over time, but only if you are measuring and adjusting them. So keep an eye on that. The compute really can go for a toss, right? And so be sure how you are progressing and what we are expecting, because budgets are limited in every org today. And then you come to the refined part of it, which is success will breed success. So each win funds the next initiative. So keep on doing that, be iterative and try to relate to other business use cases, and that's where you will expand your successful initiatives as well. And finally, it is monitoring, which is, I mean, without monitoring, it's like you're flying blind, so nobody wants to do that. So be on top of that. I do have a second framework too, which is pretty simple and straightforward. And I've just given some examples also, which I'm sure you should be able to relate. So if you look at, you should start from here, which is your high impact, low effort, which is basically a quick win. So chatbot is the simplistic. Then you can do basic predictive analytics and the automated reporting, right? Simplistic of the stuff. You can create agents for these, and it just works seamlessly, right? So if your org has not done it, please do these. Then you may want to move to this bucket, which is high impact, but a bit of high effort as well. But these are going to be your major projects. This is where I will go back to my previous slide where I talked about try to show certain quick wins in between. Create some critical paths, some milestones for yourself, wherein you are showing certain progresses which are happening, right? So try to do that. And some of the examples here are your custom AI models, your full process automation and integrated AI ecosystems, and so on and so forth. And then comes your when resources are available, which is low impact and low effort, which is simple data visualization, basic automation scripts. This is something you may not want to spend too much of time. And finally, resource drain, which is like over engineering the stuff, right? If it is really too technical sort of a thing, let the normal AI lead it out. Don't invest too much on Gen AI and all. It will be a lot of compute for you, and a lot of re-engineering will be involved, and the vanity AI projects and also stay away from those ones is what I will suggest, right? And this is where the industry is moving. I thought I should give some perspective on that. So we are still in the early days. What we are seeing now is like the internet in 1995. This is how you should look at it, right? It is impressive. You're all finding it. Yes, there's something happening, but nothing compared to what's coming. Yeah. So be cautious about that. So the multimodal AI, which is like a imagine AI that doesn't just read text but understands images, voice, video, combines all of these for insights, right? So I mean, it is going to do wonders, right, for on a real time basis. Then you have autonomous systems which are coming in. So your business processes that optimize themselves. Imagine that scenario. You don't have to optimize them. You have to just give them a business problem, and they optimize themselves. So supply chains that self heal when disrupted, or a marketing campaign which evolves based on the results. So if the campaign is not working well, it automatically adjusts itself with something else. So imagine those things coming up. That's basically your autonomous systems, which industry is expecting. Then we have AI agents. So these are not just chatbots, they are AI employees literally. And I'm sure you must have read a couple of examples in the industry which have happened, right? So there are a couple of banks who have initiated these agents who will sit 24/7, right? Do those transactions and all. Apart from that, I'm not sure if you guys have used, but there are follow-ups or the meeting note takers and all of that. These are also agents which are available today. They can do the scheduling of your meetings, they can do follow-ups, so everything is possible through these agents. And finally, the big one which is coming is your quantum AI integration. So nobody knows, I mean, what's going to happen in this space. But in 10 years, saying we are in, yeah. So, I mean, you never know where these things are going to be. I think quantum is becoming real, but maybe it will take another couple of years or so to be real time business use cases being solved through it. But there's something which is a more of a wait and watch. Nobody knows what it will end up doing because compute today is expensive in this space. But it is going to be a game changer. Talking from the evolution of the industry side of it, I think in 10 years, saying we are an AI company will be like saying we are using electricity, right? So that's what is happening today. I don't think there is any company which exists today which is not utilizing AI in one way or the other, right? Talking of the competitive advantages and all, the companies that figure this out first will not only win, they will redefine their industries and they qualify as disruptors, right? And that's what is going to be. What used to be supply chain in olden days, that's AI first today. And if you talk about the call to action, the question isn't whether this will happen, it's whether you will be leading the change of reacting to do it or not. That's where I think most of the stuff is happening today. Are we clear? And ethical AI and all, you will all relate to it. That's why I don't want to put a focus on. But ethics is something which is very at the center of the heart of organizations which are very compliant, large scale organizations. They don't want to do anything which is unethical. So there are strong repercussions of that. So you have to take care of that part of it very seriously so that all the hallucinations and all those things are not there. Typically try to just phrase it out wherever you are taking that excerpts from, that quote it out, right? This is your source and all, just to avoid any nuances which may happen in the later stage. Okay. So before jumping the guns, very simple stuff. Start with business problem, not solution. Generative AI is a multiplier. It is not a replacement for strategy. Remember that. Third, quick wins will build momentum for larger transformations. Data quality and ethics are non-negotiable foundations. And finally, success requires both, guys. It's technology and culture. And you can't expect because you know technology, you know business, others will adopt. Be a change agent, right? Have a plan for it, because if you are creating solutions which are not adopted, which are not scaled in the organization, it's failure. So try to create something which people understand and relate to it. Do a bit of grounds up work. If you're a pure play data scientist creating stuff for the business, trust me, the answer or response you'll get from the business is, this is ivory tower thinking. You're sitting in an AC office and designing something for me. Be my guest, come to the market, understand what we do, and then build the model, right? And that's where you will see a lot of adoption if we'll work with the business very closely. Finally, I am sure you all are aware of it. You must be champions, but still, just to call it out, these are very, very small examples. But ChatGPT Claude for content and analysis, Google Colab for experimentation, Hugging Face for your pre-trained models, and finally Kaggle for any data sets and learning that you need. So this is just your toolkit. That is it from my side, guys. Any
These are
questions?
free.
These are mostly free. Yes, these are free.
Like suppose we'll create one agent. So can we showcase it to the in the client network also?
Yes,
With
you
this?
can. Colab is completely free. You can do that. ChatGPT, Claude, they limit certain extent. That's free. Kaggle is free. Hugging Face is free. Absolutely.
So do you have the flow of like creating the agent like anywhere? Have you posted or anything?
I've not posted it out, but because in our office and most of the offices, because you are in a Microsoft environment, so Copilot becomes easier. So most of us do it basis that, but then we do other agents which are absolutely, I'll say, more of intrinsic to the organization. Those are not on these platforms; those are paid ones. So we don't do it here because you don't want the proprietary stuff to go in. But for your, I'll say, more of a practical purposes and more for academia and all, absolutely you can do it on Copilot, on ChatGPT and all. Even ChatGPT allows you to create agents today, so you can do it on that.
Can I connect with you again? I wanted to actually have some insight on that.
Sure, sure.
Okay, fine.
That's it from my side, guys. Any questions from anyone? Happy to answer. I'll take it as no. Thanks for having me here. Really appreciate it. I hope I was able to add some value to you guys. Feel free to reach out if you have any queries in future. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir,
Thank
for
you
such
so
an
much, sir.
insightful and engaging session.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so
Your
much.
expertise in sales strategies and digital transformation and data-driven decision making has given us a lot of practical knowledge to take forward. On behalf of everyone, I sincerely express our gratitude for your time and valuable inputs.
Thank
Thank you
you.
once again, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.